Okay, so let's move on to Sutra 9, Chalana-Kalanabyham, right? So, Chalana-Kalanabyham. So, basically, this means by the deficiency and excess. By the deficiency and excess. Okay, so this is the ninth lesson or the ninth sutra, right? And this sutra teaches us to solve equations. The previous one was more on the numbers, right? This is solve equations by identifying and balancing elements that are in excess on one side and those that are deficient in the other. Similar to 8, there we are looking for numbers. Here we are looking, so there we are looking for numbers in multiplication and divisions and so on. Here we are looking in equations. Okay. So in authentic Vedic mathematics, this sutra reveals the principle of balance through movement, right? So the Sanskrit terms chalna meaning movement, right? Same in Hindi. And kalna is calculations, right? So together represent the process of identifying imbalances and moving terms to restore equilibrium. Right? So the ancient sages recognized that mathematical relationship often contain elements that are in excess on one side and deficient on another. So by systematically moving these elements, complex problems can transform into elegant solutions. Okay. So take the first example, and it's like an equation balancing, right? So you got a 3x plus 7 on the left side and 2x plus 15 on the right side. So you're supposed, to calculate x. So here, the step one is you identify the excess, right? You have 3x and 2x, and the deficiency, right? So basically, you look at 3x, 2x, excess is on the left side, and then you look at 7 and 15, and that is on the right side is excess, or the left side is deficient. Okay. So rather than mechanically moving terms across the equal signs, the way they reviewed equations as systems, seeking balance. So they identified patterns of excess and deficiency and then restored equilibrium by compensating one with the other, right? Um, so let's So we saw that there's in step two, there's excess of x on the left side, and then on the right, when you just look at the x, the left has excess, right has deficiency. When you look at the constant, the left has a deficiency and the right has an excess, right? So based on that, to compensate, to maintain equilibrium, you move, right? So you bring 2x into, right, from right to left, right? So you basically do what's called as you move the excess to balance the deficiency. So in that case, 3x minus 2x and then 15 minus 7. So this was a simple example, but it's just the concept of how you do it, right? Even modern math, we talk about bringing, x on one and constant other. But here, the way you look at it, so that way, if you have other equations which are more complex, you can apply the same principle of looking for deficiencies and excesses, and then create the balance, right? So that's the key here, remembering the main thing in this sutra. So let's look at another example, which is the proportion balancing. Okay. So here, x divided by 4 equal to 12 divided by x. Okay. So you cross, again, you're doing the cross multiplications to create the balance. Okay. So same thing, the ancients they recognized that cross multiplication creates a perfect symmetry between the products of opposite terms. So this insight reveals the deep understanding of numerical relationship in Vedic mathematics, right, where you establish the balance and the harmony, and they become the fundamental principles that guide the mathematical reasoning. So moving on to solve this, right? So we have x and x, you move on one side, that's x squared, and then you move 4 on the other side, 12, so that's 48, right? So basically you get x squared equal to 48. So basically you do square root on both sides, so what happens? X equal to square root of 48, which is 4 square root of 3, right? So your answer is x equal to 4 square root of 3, or it's almost 4 square root of 3 is same as about 6.993, right? So again, imbalance, moving, cross multiplying, and then getting the answers, right? So what we have seen in Chalana, you know, Kalanabyham, right? It teaches how to look for patterns of excess and deficiencies in this case as compared to the previous Sutra 8. This is for mathematical equations. So by identifying what is too much on one side and what's too little on the other, we can systematically balance equations and find elegant solutions. So this principle applies to linear equations, proportions, and many other mathematical relationships. So the Vedic insights we have explored reveal the profound mathematical understanding of the ancient sages, right? Who viewed mathematics not as a mechanical process, like how modern math does, of symbol manipulation, but as a harmonious system where balance and equilibrium guide our path to solutions.